Okay. Let's get into this. Anthony Joshua versus Kubrat Pulev. Fight breakdown and fight prediction. I hope you all can hear me well. The last couple of days we've had a few sound issues. Yes, if you can hear me, can you hear me loud and clear? I want to make sure you can hear me loud and clear. Can you hear me loud and clear, people? Make sure that everyone can hear me loud and clear. So, good evening, Max P. Good to see you in the room. All right, so it's welcome again to BWTM Sports Gaming. You know what we do here. We sit down, we have a chat, we discuss about upcoming fights. This conversation seems like it's been going on forever with me regarding Kubrat Pulev and Anthony Joshua. Yasser Hassan says, "Salute BWTM. Don't get a chance to come in all the time. Hats off to you on Dubois versus George prediction. Don't like to give you your props. That's all right. We don't. Thank you so much, Yasser Hussein. But now, frankly, we don't care about if people want to give us props or not. People will have to give us props and will have to respect us because our next announcement on BW10 will not be ignored. We cannot be ignored. Although people will try and ignore us, they can't. So we're looking forward to our great announcement coming up shortly, which will shock some people and will surprise others. But anyway, it's great to see that you're in the room and great to be able to give some feedback on the Dubois versus Joyce fight. And don't also forget the Yard versus Arthur fight as well. So that was back-to-back wins for me. And then I tried to get greedy and thought that Danny Garcia might have done a number on Spence simply because I just didn't know the condition of Spence. And I thought, well, was it 4-1? I mean, I put 20 quid down and get 100 quid back. So I would have won some good money there, but well, that didn't happen, did it? So yeah, I'll take it. Do I watch Hatman's videos? Oh yeah, I know Hatman. I do. I don't get a chance to watch Hatman as much anymore because myself pretty busy. But yeah, I do watch Hatman's videos. So what I try and do, I say the word try because sometimes when you do fight predictions and breakdowns, your mind can be clouded by personal internal feelings about a fighter. Can sometimes happen because you find a fighter to be a favorite. There's certain fighters you may like more than others. Some people you may feel closer to because they kind of go about business the way you would like to have gone about business if you were a fighter. Yes, I do watch at yeah, I watch Time Booth as well. And how much am I putting on Pulev? Before I get to Pulev, let me get the breakdown. Let me get that breakdown going. But before I do the breakdown, why people are still coming in the room, because people are still coming in, let me just do something very quickly here. While we're in the room and why people are still coming in, I think let me see what I can do here. Little thing I want to show you all here. Let me see if I can show you a little video here while we're waiting. I don't want to do the breakdown straight away, so maybe it's what we can do here for you. So we're gonna. So there you go. Basically, the BWTM app is available right there. The BWTM is there for you to download right now on Google Play. Another announcement shortly to come out about Apple, and then a huge announcement to come shortly after that. Right. So let me read your comments first before I go into my pre-fight prediction or breakdown. Yes, Baylor. Does Johnny Nelson annoy you? I can't stand him. Sky Sports need to replace him with Duke McKenzie. Like Duke McKenzie. Oh dear, here comes Ruben Guerrero. The same Ruben Guerrero that said Povetkin looked old and washed as well. Good evening, Ingram. Great interview with Uncle Bashir. Great job. Thank you very much. You see Femi saying you'll take him out under 6. Okay, right. So let's get on to talk some serious stuff here. Thank you so much for the thing on Vlad Tsarenko. And Vlad Tsarenko had sparred both Dubois and Joyce a week apart from one another. And that's why I was able to make a prediction on Dubois and Joyce. Yes, BG London. It's great to see you in the room. Nelson thinks Tennyson beats Tank. Who cares? All right. To be honest, I really don't care what these people have to say. I'm not interested in what they've got to say. That was a great interview with both Vlad and Uncle Bash. Thank you. I don't care what these people got to say. These people are outside the BWTM, and it will be, as of 2021, it will be the BWTM universe, because we literally are going to have our own universe in 2021. But in fact, we'll have our universe before 2021. We might have our universe in the coming days. There are people that already know what's going to happen, and they're just excited about it. And I do have to give a special shout to a certain person who made the suggestion years ago, and now we're doing it. Right. Where am I based? I'm based in the UK at the moment. Nelson comes out with some silly stuff. Do I have a coach license? No. Well, kind of. I don't have. I don't have a pro license, but that doesn't mean that won't happen in the future. It's certainly something I'm looking. I've got coaching. I don't coach boxing, but I do coach some boxing. But I've got more 20 years experience in sport, basically coaching around the world from grassroots level right up to professional, international level in coaching. So yeah. Let's get into the prediction. Nobody wants to hear about all that stuff. Let's get into the prediction and let's do this. Let's come out of this full screen. Right. So let's get into this for you guys. Kubrat Pulev. You know, when I first knew about Kubrat Pulev, it was actually in David Price's career, when David Price would be when everyone was talking about David Price being the next big thing, when people talk about David Price being the next great heavyweight, when Tony Bellew came out and told us that David Price would beat the Klitschko's tomorrow, when David Price was wearing that oversized grey suit on Sky Sports. Do you remember those days? Yeah, I remember those days. I remember those days well. And I remember saying, yes, I would be prepared to work with somebody else. Can I answer your questions after? I'll answer your questions after this prediction, because I want to build a story for this. And I remember David Price, he was knocking everybody over. And I said at the time, I believed Audley Harrison would beat David Price. The southpaw style would give him a lot of problems. Now, in all that I was saying at the time, and people are, Audley Harrison, blah, 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 blah. In so saying all that, there was a name, Kubrat Pulev, who was in sparring with David Price. And Kubrat Pulev was regularly beating up David Price in sparring. Not just once in a blue moon, regularly beating up David Price. The same monster David Price was going out there and knocking people left, right, and center. And Belly was saying he was the best thing, and he was gonna be the heir to the Klitschko's. Remember that? And just so happened, after the Harrison fight, we had the fight after that, which was the Matt Skelton fight. And I always tell you that before a big fight, or before a fighter gets beat, he usually leaves footprints before they get beat. Now to the left, the southpaw. I was talking about Harrison, the southpaw. It so happened, who ended up beating David Price? A southpaw, and it was Tony Thompson. That's not my point here, but I'm telling you about how I got to know Kubrat Pulev. So I've been watching Kubrat Pulev a very long time, and I will tell you now, there are times where I think when you're doing breakdowns, you need to be honest on how you see things or how you feel towards certain people. I have always been a fan of Kubrat Pulev. Always liked him. I used to call him the Incredible Kubrat. You know, I remember him. He was one of the most feared heavyweights. Nobody was in a rush to go over to Bulgaria and fight Kubrat Pulev. Nobody wanted to fight Kubrat Pulev. Vladimir Klitschko, that fight between Vladimir Klitschko. And I will say, people do refer to that Vladimir Klitschko fight. And I will say this about that Vladimir Klitschko fight. That Vladimir Klitschko that fought Kubrat Pulev that night would have knocked. You think Anthony Joshua looked bad against Andy Hughes? That Vladimir Klitschko would have taken Anthony Joshua's head off. That Vladimir Klitschko that night. So people say, oh, well, you know, Kubrat Pulev got beat by Vladimir Klitschko that night. Yeah, but Anthony Joshua would have got his ass whooped that night by Kubrat Pulev, by Klitschko as well. That was one of Klitschko's better performances. And why Klitschko? We criticize Klitschko for being boring and not creative and all that stuff. That whole Klitschko thing, you've got to remember, Emmanuel Stewart, when he fought, when he was in the corner with Klitschko, I remember Emmanuel Stewart saying, "Get him out of there." And he went out there and he knocked out Eddie Chambers, a guy who'd never been knocked out before, knocked him out unconscious, if you remember that fight. So Emmanuel Stewart was a guy who liked knockouts. He liked to see knockouts. And after Emmanuel Stewart passed, somebody else took over the reins. And Klitschko was never the same fighter after that, regardless. He was never the same fighter after that. But I stray from what I'm trying to say here. So that's where I got to know Kubrat Pulev. And I've been watching Kubrat Pulev for the longest while. Just like I've been watching Alexander Povetkin. Let me explain something to you about heavyweight boxing. Heavyweight boxing isn't like welterweights or middleweights. Heavyweights don't have to struggle to make the weight. They don't have to struggle to get down to a certain weight. You understand? Not like the welterweights or the middleweights or the featherweights. And that constantly having to put yourself into shape is a problem on the body. It's a stress a heavyweight doesn't really have to worry about as such. Okay? Of course, if you're someone like Riddick Bowe, who has got a terrible lifestyle outside the ring, that starts to affect you inside the ring. And I think that's one of the contributing factors as to why Bowe's career didn't last as long as it should have done. Okay? Even though he had a master trainer in Eddie Thatcher in his corner. And a master trainer, we'll talk about that, legendary trainer. So I go on to say that people who believe, and it's only these new age boxing fans, I call them, who believe that heavyweights don't get better as they get older. That's unproven. Lennox Lewis, his best years were when he got older. George Foreman came back and became heavyweight champion of the world, or was he way past his sell-by date? Foreman was the guy dishing out all the punishment. He very, very rarely did you see Foreman be on the end of a beating. Then you look at guys like Povetkin. How comes they can still perform at the age that they are? They look after their body, they maintain their bodies, and at 40, he's just knocked out. Dillian White, who many people was expecting to win, including Ruben Guerrero, who's on this channel here, who loves to come in and tell people that they're past the sell-by date. A lot of these people in boxing never learn their lesson. They just move on to the next fight and they're just like a record player saying the same stuff over and over and over again. And I notice in boxing, this new set of boxing experts, they do more overlooking than the fighters themselves. They overlook quality opponents. They overlook world-class fighters. They overlook attributes. They overlook a fighter's accomplishments. They overlook them. And then afterwards we use the word upset. No, not upset. Okay? Mike Tyson was the heavyweight champion when what is he? 1920? And then was Mike Tyson handled right? So you bring Mike Tyson up. If you're going to bring up Mike Tyson, I'm asking you, was he handled right? Did he have the right people handling him? Customer passed away. Was he handled the right way? Put Mike Tyson to one side and please stay on track to what I'm talking about here. Right. So when I look at this and I look at Kubrat Pulev, and they say, oh, he's old, he's washed, he's this, he's that. But you look at these guys' accomplishments. You make the same mistake against Alexander Povetkin, a guy who'd been performing on a much higher level than Dillian Whyte. Olympic gold medalist, former world champion. Dillian Whyte never been a world champion. You know, has punching power in either hand. And his form coming into the fight was much better than Dillian Whyte's. Dillian Whyte was struggling as he was moving up against better opposition. So when I look at this fight, people are doing the same thing again. They're overlooking. The Andy Ruiz fight. How I came to breaking down Andy Ruiz was I was listening to somebody on a broadcast the other day, a media expert or a well-known media outlet, and they were saying how people who predicted the Ruiz fight got lucky and were chances. There was no chancing about it. I took the time to do the research to break down the fight. And I broke it down this way. I said, if Dillian Whyte could use the counter left hook on Joshua, and he was injured in that fight, if Vladimir Klitschko can drop Anthony Joshua and didn't follow up, then my goodness, if Andy Ruiz is able to land a left hook on Joshua, and Joshua likes to exchange. Joshua's best when he boxes. When he tries to slug and fight and brawl, that's where he leaves himself wide open for counters. And that's why I said Ruiz will beat Joshua. If Joshua engages with Ruiz, he will hit him with the left hook. And that will be the beginning and the end. And I said, because Ruiz has got fast hands, he will swarm Joshua, and Joshua will be unable to get out of the way of it. What do we see? London Bridge fell down. And it got back up again, and it fell down again. In that fight, Andy Ruiz was out jabbing Anthony Joshua. He was out jabbing Anthony Joshua. The video's there, the tape's there, the evidence is there. You mean? The tapes are there. If you choose in these situations not to watch the video evidence and watch the tapes, you know, boxing is probably the only sport I know where the evidence is in front of your face, but you choose to go with a narrative that's unproven. Andy Ruiz was the better jabber in that fight. He out-jabbed Joshua. And when Joshua was put on the back foot, doesn't know what to do. That is apparent. He does. When you double up the jab on Joshua, that stops him getting momentum to throw the big shots. You look at all his big the fights he had big knockouts. It's when he's been on the front foot. It's when he's been able to establish his jab and put his right hand in. Watch all his fights. And then watch the fights he's had problems with. Joshua has never been impressive or never looked great against guys who come at him. When guys come at Joshua and put pressure on Joshua, he doesn't handle pressure well. He don't mind putting the pressure on you, But when you put pressure on Joshua, he doesn't like it. And there's still that chin. There's still that chin. You know, people forget these things. Wobbled by Dillian White. Dillian White went to his body, slowed him up, but Dillian White was injured. I told you all that before the fight. Klitschko dropped him, and really, if Klitschko hadn't listened to Vitali, he would have finished Joshua off. You'd be talking about Joshua today. And then we had Andrew Rees, and he didn't care. He didn't care. He didn't care about reputation, didn't care about Joshua's big muscles, didn't care about any of that. Didn't care about those things because he was mentally strong. And he stood up to Joshua. Povetkin had his moment. But I think size-wise, in that fight, I think Joshua was physically too big and too strong for Povetkin. Povetkin had his moment, and he did give Joshua problems. Now we have Kubrat Pulev. Deep amateur pedigree. Two-time European heavyweight champion. Beaten only once by Vladimir Klitschko. And has beaten some of the guys we have in the UK. Hughie Fury, who has, in my opinion, a better jab than Joshua and is more mobile than Joshua. And Derek Chisora, totally different style again. Chisora likes to come plodding forward and putting shots together and try to put you under pressure. Kubrat Pulev put Chisora in his place. Most people think that Kubrat Pulev doesn't punch hard. Okay. Joshua's saying he's going to walk through Kubrat Pulev. Well, that'll be interesting. I haven't seen Anthony Joshua walk through any world-class heavyweight. I have never seen Anthony Joshua walk through any world-class heavyweight. I heard Joe and Joshua's piping up about he's going to go out there and he's going to make Ruiz pay. I'm like, really? You really want to do that to Andy Ruiz? A man that has sparred many, many, many rounds with a great Evander Holyfield. You're going to come and say you're going to teach Ruiz a lesson? Really? Come on, man. Come on. Come on. You have got some serious challenge ahead of you with Kubrat Pulev. You've got to, first of all, we go back again. We talked about Joe Joyce and the jab. We talked about Lyndon Arthur and the jab. And we're now going to talk about Kubrat Pulev and the jab. Kubrat Pulev has the best left jab, arguably, in their heavyweight division, consistently. I tell you before, and I'll tell you again, a right hand will take you around the corner. A left jab will take you around the world. A left jab can open up opportunities to land punches. A left jab can be used to shut down an opponent. A left jab can be used to give yourself a breather, get yourself space. A left jab can be used as a counter. A left jab can be used as a rangefinder. You know, and a left jab can also be used out there to cause damage. Kubrat Pulev's left jab is no joke. It was a left jab that rocked Vladimir Klitschko. Pulev's jab to the stomach. Even a left jab or right hand to the stomach, straight right hand to the stomach, has dropped opponents. Good, decent opponents. So I'm not that convinced that AJ's just going to walk up on Kubrat Pulev and just stop him. Well, he's going to have to do something that nobody, even Vladimir Klitschko can do, which is walk up on him. Because first of all, he's going to have to deal with a jab. He's going to have to deal with a jab. Pulev's got a world-class trainer in his corner. And I'm sorry, I don't know what Joshua we're going to see on Saturday night. Are we going to see the Joshua? If Joshua's going to try and box with Kubrat Pulev, he can forget it. If he decides to try and box with Kubrat Pulev, Pulev sets his own traps up, right? He sets his own traps up. I'm not telling you Kubrat Pulev is invincible. I'm not telling you Joshua can't knock Pulev out. And I do believe if Joshua beats Kubrat Pulev, in my opinion, it's probably his best career performance to date. He's not coming in with a guy who's overweight. I thought the Povetkin fight actually was a good performance, to be fair. But I think this Kubrat Pulev, he's not going in and fighting a guy that's been off the couch hasn't fought for 2 years, right? They've both been out of the ring for a while, Joshua and Pulev. So it's a good win. It's a good win. It's a good win if Joshua beats Kubrat Pulev. But I'm going Kubrat Pulev. I think he's got the way superior jab. He's got deceptively fast hands. He's adaptable. I think Kubrat Pulev. And I like Kubrat Pulev. I back Kubrat Pulev for this fight. So I'm going with Kubrat Pulev. The double jab right hand combination. That jab will disrupt Anthony. It's going to disrupt him. And whereas a lot of guys will walk away from Joshua, Pulev will go to Joshua. And we'll see, because Kubrat Pulev will land. And if he lands, can Josh take that power? But for me, I just think it's a battle of the jabs. If Josh can find a way around that jab, and if Kubrat Pulev is foolish enough, right, to leave himself open to the left hook, which he did against Vladimir Klitschko, that night, though, I will go back and say something about that Vladimir Klitschko fight. That ring was padded. Because I was shocked, because I expected Kubrat Pulev to beat Vladimir Klitschko that night, right? And I asked myself, why was it that Kubrat Pulev seemed like he was stuck in mud when he fought Vladimir? I thought he would be able to beat Vladimir to the jab. I thought he'd be able to give good movement and then be able to land the right hand. That's how good I rated Kubrat Pulev. But then, first round, he's like he's stuck in mud. And then we look at later on, I think it was straight after the Pulev fight that he fought Fury, or not just too long after that. We find out about the springy ring and the sponge. And if you've been sparring on sponge, if you're sparring on sponge and you go and fight on a spongy mattress, you are able to move quite smoothly because your body's used to that. But when you fight a guy, if you're the guy who's been fighting on a flat surface and then you go, it's for example, you go in a bouncing castle, yeah? You go in a bouncing castle, you can't quite get your foot in the same way, and you're falling all over the place. Then you look at yourself when you get in a ring, then you go on a flat surface, as you come off a flat surface, you do the same, you've got your balance. So it's very difficult for you to get balance. And if you're a person that likes to use your footwork, and that is taken completely away from you. So could you imagine that night when Fury fought Vladimir Klitschko and Fury was moving around the ring? Could you imagine if Fury and their team didn't know anything about that spongy mattress? Fury himself would have got beat that night because all that moving around the ring, it saps energy from your legs. Another person who fell foul to that was the guy from Cuba, the heavyweight. He was pretty good, and he broke his leg in that ring that night against Vitaly Klitschko. He was a good heavyweight. I keep forgetting the guy's name again, and we never heard about him since. But if I were him, I'd be going back and checking that and saying, hey, yo, that canvas I was on wasn't good. There was something dodgy about the canvas. Yes, it does. Yes, it does make a significant difference. Because it's like, okay, let's imagine, right? You decide to have, for example, a bare knuckle fight, yeah? And I say to you, yeah, we're going to have a bare knuckle fight on the grass, right? In the park. And then, all of a sudden, come the fight, I said, you know what? Actually, we're going to have to fight in a bouncing castle. And all my training I've done has been in the bouncing castle. And you've been training on the grass. What do you think? What do you think? What do you think if you're a guy who's a mover? What do you think? You can't get your balance right. Well, the guy who's been training on the bouncing castle knows how to configure his body to be able to move a certain way. Do you understand? It does make a difference. It does make a difference. I remember when I was training in Florida, and you get up in the morning, and we'd go down to Florida. We'd go down to the beach in Florida, and my trainer would take me. We did workouts early in the morning. And I'm telling you, he used to make me run in the sand, and then the difference when afterwards, when you got off the sand afterwards, and you walked on the pavement, it was like you were walking on air. Afterwards, God, it will take you out on your legs. It was like you're walking on air. You feel like you're floating because the way you're feeling the sand. So there we go with that. So I'm going with Kubrat Pulev. Um, it will open up opportunities. I'm looking for Kubrat Pulev straight down the middle rather than the hooks. I'm looking for straight right hands through straight right double jab right hand or right left jab right hand through the middle of Joshua and hurting him. That's what I expect to see. Yeah, they are. Sand workouts are killer, but they're real good as well. So let's talk boxing. 51 Moss Lane. Will show. Okay, let's go. Let's go. Let's talk. Let's talk. Let's talk. Let's see what people are saying in the room. Would you open your own gym or work in somebody else's gym? Well, I've already had a couple of offers to work in gyms, and I personally would like the opportunity to work with an experienced trainer. I would definitely want to work with an experienced trainer. I was fortunate in my coaching career to work with some of the best coaches around in the world. So that was able to rub off, be able to use some of those coaching practices and be very successful wherever I've gone in the world, whether it be the Caribbean, the West Indies, Australia, or Caribbean, West Indies, Australia, Ireland, and even England. It's been those experiences have helped me to win tournaments and trophies on numerous occasions. So yeah, that I would definitely want to work with an experienced trainer, one that I respect. I would want to do that. But we'll see. We'll see. I mean, there's a lot of things for me to get through first, but I definitely would love to do it. Let's see what else we've got here. Pulev early or late or early, and how much you putting on him? I'll look at the odds and I'll come back to you about it. Probably a fight night, but I'll look at the odds. Yeah. Then Price quit, and Kuzman and Belly were silent. Rob Brown. Is this now question I've got to ask, and I keep forgetting to ask? Is this the Rob Brown? Is this the Rob Brown from Australia? I think it's Australia. If it's the same Rob Brown that I used to talk to on the radio, who used to do a radio show with Jenna. I don't know where Jenna got to. Jenna was excellent. Jenna was absolutely excellent. Jenna was what a lot of these media outlets try to be. Jenna was amazing. She was amazing. She used to do interviews with Emmanuel Stewart regularly. Jenna J, that's it. Jenna J. Where is Jenna? If it is the same Robert Brown, yeah, where's Jenna J? I'd love to hook up with Jenna J and get a show with her. She is absolutely amazing. AJ's lost. AJ's lost. What's this? I can't read this properly. Let me stop screen there again. See, AJ's lost. His stock is going down in the ground. Oh dear. AJ was on Costello's show saying now he has an uncivilized mindset. Gone are the days of military mindset. I don't listen to what AJ's got to say, to be honest. I think he's telling himself some stuff, but I don't know. Do you think Adam Smith can fight? Oh, I think it would. I'd dread to watch. Vlad wasn't landing as accurately with those right hands versus Pulev, but he usually is. Does AJ have the left hook to trouble Pulev? Don't know. But is it the left hook that's going to trouble Pulev, though? Pulev's got quite good at blocking shots now in certain ways. Let's see what's here. Let's see what's going here. You could argue that Ali peaked early too, was untouchable in the 60s. He also got thrown behind bars as well. Remember when there was a theory of some boxing pundits that Mike Tyson had no chin? It was because he was hardly getting hit. That was on the account of his great skill and scientific work. Yeah, of course. The old mongoose. Oh, there we go. Oh, let's go back there again. I'm trying to go back up here again. The old mongoose, Archie Moore, was way better in his latter years. He gave Marciano all he could handle. Hello, you think Pulev can pull the upset? Did you see him against Little Brooker, Joshua in 5 or 6? Can I ask you again? Which world-class heavyweight has Joshua taken out? This thing about Joshua being this big puncher. Who has he taken out in 5 or 6 rounds? World class. I think he took him 8 rounds. Was it 8 rounds he took to beat Povetkin? Oh, clearly a Joshua fan. That's all right. It's fine. Not a problem. If memory serves me right, the old mongoose has the most KOs by amounts in the history of the sport. Really? I thought it was George Foreman at one point. Casuals in my barbershop lost a lot of respect to for AJ. The killer instinct wasn't there in the last fight. Well, if it isn't there against Kubrat, it could be a problem. AJ's not his best when he's trading because people punch between the shots and time him with counters. If he boxes and moves, he's a sight to behold. Yeah, if he boxes. Is there a rematch clause for the fight? Well, you know the answer to that question. Would I move to the States? If so, which part? New Jersey. New Jersey. Hey, I still got my visa. Still got my visa to the States. So if you want to do some business, call me before 2020. Well, before 2021. I think it lasts 2021 or 2022. My visa is. Ruiz was out timing AJ as well and punching between the shots. That's how he scored the first knockdown of AJ. There we go. Do you really think those holes have been fixed up? Let's see here. Let's see who's next. I should have known better. Rematch clause for mandatory defense, yes. Have to beat the champ twice now, whether you're voluntary or mandatory. I think they've learned from the Klitschko situation, to be honest. I think they've learned from the Klitschko, from how Klitschko does about what used to go about his business. You remember before with Klitschko, if you beat Vladimir, you had to beat Vitaly. I think in the Takam fight, AJ was behind and Takam was doing fine. I thought one of his shots from him broke AJ's nose. Then it was prematurely stopped. I know. Pulev hasn't lost in 2014. He stayed active, fighting at least once or sometimes 3 times a year. Yep. Many people are looking at this. It's just a padded fight for AJ. I don't think some people realize that this is a dangerous fight for AJ. Very dangerous. Very dangerous. The jab to the stomach is an underrated weapon. It can knock the wind out of you and end the fight. Of course it can. Vlad fought him 6 years ago. After you've corrected yourself, yeah, 6 years ago. Cool. Does AJ have a leaping left hook though? Vlad caught Pulev with left hooks from long range. Don't know if AJ's that athletic. Question. Are we going to see AJ the Roadrunner or Joshua the Coyote? I think we might see Joshua the Coyote, and if he starts going wrong, we might see AJ the Runner. So let's see what's going. Sand workouts are killer on the legs. You're right. So do you think Pulev will be coming forward, uppercuts inside and working inside and working on the inside? I think Kubrat Pulev is an experienced heavyweight, and they'll have a game plan. They'll box to a game plan, just like Povetkin when he came to England. They'll box their game plan. These guys at this level, experienced heavyweights, and at the top level, they'll leave nothing to chance, and they will have a game plan. They will have broken down AJ, especially Pulev's corner, world-class trainers. So, obviously the trainers can't fight for them, but they'll come prepared. Just AJ will come prepared as well. They'll come prepared. They want me guesswork. And these are guys who've been in the game. These trainers have been in the game a long time, and they're proven winners. These trainers, you understand? So, just check box rec. Archie Moore had 132 KOs. Wow, love Archie Moore. It was so nice. I had to beat AJ twice. You have to beat AJ twice. Oh dear. Who do I think is the best heavyweight? Well, no matter if I said to you today I thought Joe Joyce was the best heavyweight in the world, you would say to me, no, he's not. You tell me Tyson Fury. If I said Tyson Fury was the best heavyweight in the world, you say no, he's not. You say AJ. Really, I can't tell you the best heavyweight in the world is, because AJ hasn't fought. AJ hasn't fought Fury. Fury hasn't fought Joyce. Joyce hasn't fought. So I don't know who the best heavyweight is. Like, Fury's unbeaten. He's beaten Vladimir Klitschko, and basically on his record, he's beat Wilder and he's beat Klitschko, and those are two guys who had long reigns as heavyweight champions. And he did it. He's done both of them when they were still. Klitschko was still predicted to knock Fury out, and Wilder was. Most people said Wilder, including myself, was going to knock Fury out. So he didn't go into those fights as the favourite. Plus, some people saw him as favourite because they just like Fury, but he wasn't the overall favourite in the fight going in against Wilder or against Klitschko. So, I think on the basis of that, you would say Fury on the work that he's done. But then you can't discount Joyce because Joyce hasn't had the opportunity to fight those guys. So, but I think Joyce is up there. I've always said Joyce is up there. Do you reckon? It says here, you reckon with Pulev's guard, he could be open to uppercuts inside? Yeah, he could be. He could well be open to uppercuts. My man, yes, Coach Chris. Will Yoka be world champion? I think he's got all the ability to become a world champion. It's just a matter of timing with everything. Fury picked his opponents. Let's keep it real. Yep, he picked him. Ruben, stop doing drugs, son. They'll rot your brain. I think Fury is way too slick for Joyce, really. But he wasn't too slick for Otto Wallin. Okay. This is the thing. What happened to Otto Wallin fight? And Otto Wallin didn't have no didn't have no pedigree like Joyce. Come on, man. I like Michael Hunter. Yeah, I do too. Best body of work is AJ. Well, yeah. Funny, isn't it? That's something that they like to say on Sky a lot. So yeah, he beat up more top 10 heavyweights than any other heavyweight. Yeah, you listened to that line from Sky, haven't you? How many of those fights did he go in being the underdog? AJ is a big version of Errol Spence. No. I don't see that. I'm sorry, my friend. I don't know where you got AJ being a big version of Errol Spence. Errol Spence can box and well. And didn't fall over at the first hurdle when he had to go to another country. I don't know how you can compare Errol Spence to AJ. Lord, put a hand. But Fury's two best wins are better than anything on Fury's resume. That's what I'm saying. That's what I said. I believe that. Yeah. There was a comment somebody made earlier on, and I do want to take them to task on it. Where are you? I've ignored you because I'm going to end my evening on you. So this guy says, change the record, mate. Every video I was right, everyone else wrong. Break the fight down instead of massaging ego. Mate, I'll do what I want, what I like on my channel. Okay? If you don't like the record, go buy a new record. Go somewhere else. Simple as. I didn't ask you to come here. So if you don't like it, jog on. So let's be honest. Fury folds Wilder like a book. Well, let's see the third fight. Would be great to see Eddie's face if Pulev won. Yo, that would be a great Christmas present. Fury, cheated in every big fight. What a joke. So, right. Yeah, it would be a great Christmas present. Honestly, be a great Christmas present. I just don't like the arrogance of we're gonna walk through. I don't like the arrogance of we're just gonna walk through Kubrat Pulev. So dismissive, so arrogant, so dismissive of a guy that's accomplished. The only thing he hasn't accomplished, he's just been knocking at the door of the heavyweight world title, and that's the final thing. And it would be it would be great to see Kubrat Pulev win the heavyweight championship of the world. But AJ's there, and he's the man that's preventing that from happening. So I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But I wish both guys the very best. I do believe if Joshua beats Pulev, he is. For me, I'm fascinated how AJ's going to get around the Pulev jab. When he can get around the Pulev jab, because that's really what it is. If he can get past the Pulev jab without getting nailed with the right hand, that's the key thing for me. That jab. Yeah. That's what it's about. Right. I'm going to stop the show right here. Thank you all so much for watching. As always, appreciate you. Really do appreciate you all being in the room. Yep. Wishing AJ all the best in his defense, because obviously everyone does want to see that fight between Fury and AJ. But again, we'll have to see what's going on with Fury and Wilder, because that is another situation altogether. Right. Let me get this for you guys before I end our show. Gentlemen, get yourselves BWTM. Check it out. Get yourself and download the app now. BWTM online. Get yourself ready for the BWTM universe coming to you by the end of 2020. And my brother in the house, Mr. Coach Chris, I know you've seen what we're planning for 2021. You've seen what we're doing so far, and I'm sure that you're impressed. And I'm sure it's going to be a big thing for many of our supporters in 2020 and 2021. Right, let's get out of here. Thanks for watching.